You might be wondering why the heck I'm doing another review of the Citroen C4. Well, I'm not. It's actually the DS4. This is the second car in the French firm's new premium range. It's based on the normal C4, but sits higher off the ground. It has a shorter coupe rear end. Don't worry though, despite the curvaceous bottom, the boot is still large enough to carry all the equipment you need to shoot a car review video. In fact, I say there's room for even more. Inside, the DS4's dash is taken straight from the C4. However, there's some extra bits of trim to make the cabin feel a little bit more upmarket. Overall, cabin quality, it's good, and all the dials and switches have a nice robust feel to them. The chairs are comfy and supportive, and there's loads of adjustment in the driving position, so it doesn't matter if you're big or small. There's decent practicality too. There's various cubbies dotted about the place to store your bits and bobs, and the side door bins are big enough to hold large bottles. If you like to meddle, you can change the colour of the instrument and the dials, but my favourite thing is this: Citroen's Zenith windscreen. The first thing you notice when driving the DS4 is just how quiet its engines are, even the diesels. The second thing you spot is the raised ride height. I mean, it's not quite as lofty as that as in an SUV, but you do feel ever so slightly more superior than other road users. However, the most surprising thing with this car is just, well, how sporty it feels. It handles way better than the soggy C4 on which it's based. The steering's sharp, there's lots of grip, and there's hardly any body roll round corners, thanks to sportier suspension. Unfortunately, you can also thank that firmer setup for a slightly bouncy ride over rough surfaces, and if you hit a pothole or a bump, you can get quite a nasty jolt. Also, I have to say that it is good, this car, but it's still not quite as fun as its younger brother, the DS3, and it's certainly not as sharp as a VW Scirocco. As for other downsides, well, rear visibility isn't great because the screen's quite small, and you get a massive back pillar which creates a bit of a blind spot when you're looking over your shoulder to pull out at junctions. However, the biggest problem with the DS4 is its rear practicality, or lack thereof. There is a price to pay for that cool rear window design, because when you open the door, you have to be careful not to spear yourself on that bit, and it does mean opening it in tight spaces will be a bit difficult. Then there's this rear pillar which kind of gets in the way, and to get in you've got to kind of imagine that you're wearing a mini skirt. You have to keep it all dignified. Before you ask, no, I've never worn a mini skirt. Anyway, once you're inside, headroom is reasonable, but knee room, it's more limited than on a normal small family hatchback. But the worst thing of all is this: the rear windows, they don't wind down, and that is just really annoying. Finally, there's the price, because the DS4 is quite a bit more expensive than the C4 on which it's based, and it's not really expected to hold its value that much better come resale time. That said, it is cheap to run, especially if you go for one of the diesels, and of course, it does look rather unique.